It's 1956, and somewhere in a quiet government office, American officials are staring at the Olympic medal table with their jaws clenched. The Soviet Union is crushing them. The Soviets have built a giant state machine, hand-picking children, funneling them into government training centers, paying them to do nothing but train for the glory of the nation. And it's working. Communist countries are stacking up gold medals as proof that their system is superior. America wants to win just as badly. But there's a problem. The United States refuses to build a government sports program because that's exactly the kind of state control they're fighting against in the Cold War. So America has to find another way. And the bizarre, almost accidental solution they stumbled into is the reason the United States still dominates the Olympics today. By the end of this video, you'll know the three things that built American champions. And the third one is the one almost nobody outside America understands. Because here's the part that makes no sense. The United States has won more Olympic medals than any country on Earth, with over 670 medals since the year 2000 alone. And it has done this with no national sports ministry, no government training camps, no state salaries for athletes. While Russia, China, Cuba, and the old Soviet bloc all built top-down government systems to manufacture champions, America built nothing like that. There is no federal department deciding which kid becomes an Olympian. And yet, every 4 years, the United States walks into the Olympics and walks out with the most gold. So how does a country with no central system keep beating countries that engineer their athletes from childhood? The answer starts with how American kids grow up. And it looks nothing like the rest of the world. The first thing to understand is that in America, sports aren't run by the government. They're run by everyone else. From the time a kid can walk, they're funneled into an enormous, messy, decentralized web of youth leagues, club teams, summer camps, and school programs. Little League baseball, Pop Warner football, club swimming, travel soccer, gymnastics academies, and strip malls. None of it is coordinated by a national plan. It's thousands of separate organizations, mostly paid for by parents and local communities, all competing with each other. And that chaos is actually the secret weapon. Because instead of one government deciding who's worth developing, you have millions of kids all getting a shot at once across every sport imaginable. The talent isn't selected from the top down. It bubbles up from the bottom, out of a country obsessed with competition at every level. So that's the first pillar. America doesn't pick its champions. It lets a giant, decentralized free-for-all surface them naturally. But finding talented kids is only the start, because the place where those kids actually get turned into world-class athletes is something no other country has. The second pillar is the American college system, and this is where the real magic happens. In almost every other nation, once you're a serious athlete, you either get pulled into a government program or you're on your own. In the United States, you go to university. American colleges aren't just schools. They're enormous, professional-grade athletic institutions. They have stadiums that hold 100,000 people, multi-million-dollar training facilities, full-time coaching staffs, sports scientists, nutritionists, and physical therapists, all available to athletes who are still teenagers. A talented swimmer or runner or gymnast gets a scholarship, goes to college for free, and spends 4 years training in facilities that rival anything a national team could offer. And the numbers prove how central this is. About 75% of every Team USA Olympic roster comes out of the American college system. 3 out of every 4 American Olympians were developed not by the government, but by universities. Names, like Katie Ledecky in swimming and Suni Lee in gymnastics. Cam? Up through this exact pipeline. College is where America quietly outtrains the rest of the world. Think about what that actually means. While other countries are spending government money to build isolated training centers, America already has hundreds of them, scattered across every state, fully funded and packed with the best young athletes in the country, all competing against each other every single week. It's a national training system that the government never had to build. But here's the question that breaks everyone's brain. Who pays for all of it? College swimming doesn't make money. Track and field doesn't make money. Gymnastics, wrestling, rowing, diving, none of these sports sell enough tickets to fund themselves. So how does America afford to develop Olympic athletes in dozens of sports that lose money? And the answer is the third pillar, and it is the strangest part of the entire story. The third pillar is American football, a sport that is barely played anywhere else on the planet is the reason the United States dominates the global Olympics. Here's how it works. College football in America is a giant business. The biggest universities fill stadiums with 80, 90, 100,000 fans every Saturday in the fall. Television networks pay billions of dollars for the rights to broadcast these games. The money that pours in from college football is staggering. And that money doesn't just stay in football, it funds the entire athletic department. The ticket sales and TV deals from football pay for the swimming pools, the running tracks, the gymnastics equipment, the wrestling mats, and the scholarships for athletes in sports that could never pay for themselves. In other words, a 60,000-seat football stadium in the American South is quietly funding the next Olympic gold medalist in the 400-meter freestyle. No other country has this. There is no sport anywhere else that generates this kind of money and then pumps it directly into Olympic development. It is a completely American accident. They were just trying to win football games on Saturday, and in doing so, they accidentally built the most powerful Olympic pipeline in human history. Let that sink in. The reason a kid from Iowa can become a world champion wrestler or a girl from California can become an Olympic swimmer is that millions of Americans love watching college football. The fans in those stands have no idea they're bankrolling Team USA, but they are. Every ticket, every jersey, every television contract feeds the machine. So, put all three pillars together and the mystery finally makes sense. A decentralized, parent-driven youth system that lets talent bubble up from everywhere instead of being chosen from above. A college system that doubles as hundreds of free professional-grade training centers, and a uniquely American sport that generates enough money to fund every other sport around it. That combination is why a country that refuses to run a government sports program still beats the countries that do, year after year after year. But here's the part worth thinking about, because the story is starting to change. That college system, the engine of the whole thing, is under serious strain right now. Universities are cutting Olympic sports to save money. The economics of college athletics are shifting fast, and the money that once flowed freely into swimming and track and wrestling is being pulled in new directions. Experts who study this are openly worried that if the college pipeline keeps shrinking, American Olympic dominance could begin to crack. The very system that was never supposed to exist, the one America stumbled into by accident, might not survive the next few decades intact. Still, for right now, the formula holds. Somewhere in America today, a teenager is training in a college pool that was paid for by a football game they've never even watched, chasing a spot on a team that no government ever planned. No state machine, no central command, just a chaotic, competitive, deeply American system that was never designed to produce Olympic champions and somehow produces more of them than anyone else on Earth. And maybe that's the most American thing of all. They didn't build a perfect system. They built a messy one, an accidental one, powered by Saturday football and millions of parents driving to practice at 6 in the morning. And it just keeps winning. So the next time you watch an American stand on top of an Olympic podium, remember what actually put them there. Not a government, not a plan, a country that turned its obsession with competition into the greatest medal machine the world has ever seen, almost entirely by accident. And it's worth pausing on just how unlikely that is. Think about every other powerhouse nation. The Soviet system was deliberate, engineered from the top, with scientists and government planners deciding a child's future before they were 10 years old. China built something similar, pulling promising kids into state academies far from home. Cuba did it with boxing. East Germany did it with swimming. Every great Olympic nation in history built a machine on purpose, with a clear plan and a government behind it. America is the one giant exception. It is the only true superpower of the Olympic world that got there without ever meaning to. There was no master plan in a government office. There was just a country that happened to love competition, happened to build enormous universities, and happened to fall in love with a strange game played with an oval ball on autumn Saturdays. Stack those accidents on top of each other for 70 years, and you get the most successful Olympic nation that has ever existed. It wasn't designed. It was discovered.